So the tips I'm going to give you are from my own day-to-day experience, what I actually do in my business, as well as give you an idea of what multi-million dollar businesses do out there all around the world. So, my suggestions for Cashflow. Okay. A lot of these you should consider as developing a day-to-day habit. Okay. It's not something that you set up once and forget. It's day-to-day. And this is what businesses all around the planet are doing. This is what Microsoft does. Any business you care to think of. First one is don't start a project without a signed contract. Okay, this comes under the classification of cover your own arse. Okay, be specific in your contracts without being too specific. So in the landscape industry, if I was doing a construction contract, all of my contracts detail the services I'm going to provide and the standard of that service. If I'm going to provide soil, I tell them about how much. Okay, if I'm going to provide mulch, I tell them about how much. If I'm going to put down a wall, I'll specify the type of blocks that I'm going to use, to the height it's going to be, to an approximate linear meterage, but I won't give them the specifics of the number of blocks I'm going to supply. There's a fine line between being specific and being too specific. Okay, you don't want to create a rod for your back. So always use estimates. The word estimate or approximately is a really good one. I will install approximately 12 linear metres of blocks. Okay? Be specific so there's no argument if it gets down to that. Always agree any variations in writing. Without a doubt, once the project starts, emotion comes into it. The clients get attached to their project, they can see it, it becomes a living, breathing thing. When you're at the planning and the quoting stage, it's a numbers game, they want the smallest number. They're always going to tell you to either install something else or use a better quality product. Get that in writing. Okay? Don't feel pressured into doing something there and then on the spot. But also, look, I'll quote you a price after lunch or tomorrow once I've had a bit of time to work it out. If you agree a price verbally, always confirm it in writing. Shoot them a quick email that evening, okay, but always make sure it's in writing. And tell your clients what your payment terms are. Tell them up front and keep on reminding them. If it's written on the bottom of your quote, don't expect them to read that. If you write COD on the bottom of your invoice, don't expect them to read that. Okay? Tell them what your payment terms are up front and continue to remind them. When I'm doing a project, they know what my payment terms are up front, and throughout the project I'm giving them interim invoices. They know when to pay it because they've started getting the message. Before I finish a project, I say to them 2 to 3 days before I'm going to finish, I'd like to set aside a time with you so I can do a project handover. I want to walk you through your garden, tell you how things work, tell you how to maintain it so that you're familiar. I want to give you your plans and talk you through that. And I'm also going to give you your final invoice, just so you can have a check ready for you, or just so you can transfer the money into a new account so you can give it to me. Okay? Give them a couple of days warning because a lot of them will, paying you is not their number one priority. And it can sometimes take a couple of days to transfer money between accounts. Invoice promptly and regularly. If you say you're going to invoice every Friday, invoice every Friday. Have an invoice ready the day you finish your job. Have an invoice ready a week before you start it so they can pay you a deposit. Okay? Give them as much time as you can to get the money. And keep on top of the money that they owe you. If someone's going to transfer money to you, check your bank account 2 days later. Okay? If it's not there, get on top of it. But you've always got to chase it. Okay? Don't check your bank account in a week's time and think, gee, I thought there should have been more money in it. Okay? Be proactive. If you get paid by cash or cheque, bank it straight away. Don't leave it sitting in your wallet. It'll take 3 to 5 days for a cheque to clear. It's better in your pocket or your bank account than theirs. And check your bank account regularly, particularly if you're in the middle of a project. Okay. Generally, cash is fairly tight. I say check it Wednesday. That's very, very minimum. And the reason I say Wednesday is because it still gives you 2 business days to try and organise payment. If they need to move money around, it's going to take at least a day, then they need to give it to you. Don't leave it until the end of the week on Thursday or Friday, because you're going to be waiting until the middle of next week for that payment. Okay, so the Wednesday is definitely at latest. And prepare a cash forecast. If your business is heavily into doing lots of projects and lots of fairly large projects, you're going to need to be fairly careful with your money. There's a lot of money moving in and out. So prepare a cash forecast at least every week, so that you can be prepared as to when you may need to schedule your payments to your contractors. If you've got to pay credit card bills or any other bills within your business, this is so you're not all of a sudden have a nasty surprise. You go to down to Bunnings to buy some materials and your credit card's declined. Okay, keep on top of it, prepare a cash flow forecast and keep monitoring it. If you haven't done it already, separate your business from your personal finances. I know there are a lot of people out there that still work out of the one bank account. You're going to cause yourself a whole heap less hustle, pain and problem if you separate them. Separate your business from your personal life in terms of credit cards as well. A lot of banks will not allow you to use a personal credit card for business. Okay. A lot of them let you do it, but if you read the fine print, you're actually in breach of a lot of their agreements. Report and pay GST monthly. Let's do a quick survey. Who does that? I mean, okay, who reports and pays quarterly? Annually? Who's not registered at all? Okay. My advice is to register for GST. And the reason I say that is because you can claim 10% of everything that you spend for your business. I've done various client surveys to find out whether or not my service is price driven, and it's not. It's way down the list. Okay, the landscape industry is price inelastic. They don't really care how much it's going to cost us for it. So the fact that you have to charge 10% more for your services is not going to impact on your business. But you get to save 10% of everything you spend. Okay? If you feel like me and you spend $70-80 a week on fuel, that's about $4,000 a year. It's $400 saved just by doing that. Now, the reason I say report and pay monthly, there's actually a couple of reasons. One is so that you are held to account. You have to produce you actually have to look at your business. You have to look at what you're doing, what you're selling, what you're spending. Okay, you're held to account. The tax office is holding you to account. You've got to do it. When GST was first introduced, both in here and particularly in New Zealand, there were a record number of businesses going broke after that first reporting period, because businesses had 10% more, well actually they had 1/11 more in their bank account than they could actually spend. And they were spending the tax office's money. So by doing it monthly, you limit your risk of doing that. Okay, pay yourself a regular salary and include super in there. Now, a lot of people treat, particularly if you're a small business and a sole trader, a lot of people will just take money out of the business as needed. Okay? You lose control of your business funds. Okay? Quite often, if you're like the shiny new balloon or something and you've just been paid, you might want to dip into your bank account because there's a lot of money in there at the moment. But paying yourself a regular salary, you overcome some of that just having the ability to do that, you're still getting paid regularly. By including super in that, you're preparing for your future retirement. A lot of people, particularly small business owners, are so focused on their day-to-day activity, they don't think about their future. What are they going to do when they can no longer do this work? And they've got nothing saved up in super. Set yourself clear performance targets. Okay. Make sure you can live on your salary, but don't take too much. Don't be greedy. And make sure you've got a reason to exceed your business, to excel. Don't settle for mediocrity. And if you set yourself clear performance targets, so if I achieve $10,000 worth of new sales this year, or if I achieve a 30% profit margin per project on average for the year, then I'm going to give myself an extra $1,000, or I'm going to take 25% of the net profit. That does a couple of things. One, it gives you something to strive for, to try and achieve, but it also makes you accountable to keeping track of your business. Okay? You need to commit to yourself that you'll enforce these things, but unless you're monitoring your business, you're recording, you're measuring, you're always just flying by the seat of your pants. So do things to hold yourself to account. And probably the most important thing is to set financial and capital budgets. Okay, spend the time to plan. Actually look at and be conscious of the way you do business. Okay, analyse your projects. Look at the different revenue streams that you've got, whether it's all just in construction, or whether it's design, or whether you sell products, or whether you consult, or you might do all of those. Look at each of those different income streams. Look at the costs associated with those. Look at the staff that you may employ, how you employ them. Look at all of your employment costs. Look at your fixed costs in doing business. Look at some of the variable costs in doing business. Think about your marketing. John in his last session said your marketing budget should be, I think he said, about 4%, and that you should be spending 60% on that on virtual marketing, etc. You need to actually sit down and work all that out. Does anyone know how much it costs them to open the doors of their business every day? What their break-even point is? One person. Two people. That's something that is really, really important to know. You need to be able to work out how much I need to earn this week in order to keep this business going. Because that's the minimum you have to earn. And then your objective is to earn more from that. Okay? But you need to get to know your business. Feel free to give me a call, or shoot me an email. Happy to answer any questions. But thank you very much for your time.